Ladies and gentlemen, life is not something that simply happens to you. It is shaped by your actions, your choices, and most importantly, your willingness to take responsibility for your existence. You stand at the threshold of change, and whether you step forward or remain stagnant is entirely up to you. Now, you might say, but how much change can truly occur in 13 minutes? A fair question, but consider this. It's not about time itself. It's about what you do within it. A single moment of realization, a single decision, a single action, each of these can set in motion a chain of events that fundamentally reshapes your future. First, understand that your life is a structure. It has form, whether chaotic or orderly, and the way you arrange its elements determines your trajectory. If you live in disarray, both physically and psychologically, you invite disorder into your future. Clean your room, organize your thoughts, establish a plan. Do one small thing today that your future self will thank you for. Take your groceries out of the mailbox. Finish packing on a Saturday. Second, you must abandon the idea that transformation happens instantly. People wait for a big break, for the right circumstances, for some external force to intervene and fix everything. But that's not how it works. Change happens in increments. You improve by 1% today, then 1% tomorrow, and that compounds over time. Third, stop chasing happiness as if it's the goal. Happiness is fleeting, a byproduct of alignment with meaning. If you wish to transform your life, stop asking, what makes me happy, and start asking, what is meaningful? Meaning demands effort, sacrifice, and discipline. It requires that you aim at something higher than momentary pleasure. Fourth, recognize the value of time. You waste hours every day on distractions, on avoidance, on mindless habits that add no value to your life. But what if you took just 13 minutes right now and used them with intention? What if you sat down, reflected on your life, and wrote down the most important thing you could do today? And then, crucially, what if you actually did it? You see, the problem is not that you lack time. The problem is that you do not use the time you have effectively. If you choose to act now, to take one step forward, no matter how small, you set a precedent. You prove to yourself that you are capable of change. And once you've done that, you realize there is nothing stopping you from doing it again and again and again. 13 minutes, that's all it takes to make a decision, to take action, to reorient yourself toward the life you were meant to live. You can do this, but you must begin right now. Personal responsibility is the foundation upon which a meaningful and successful life is built. It is the acknowledgement that, despite external circumstances, your actions, decisions, and mindset determine the quality of your existence. Too often, people fall into the trap of blaming external forces for their problems. Society, their upbringing, bad luck, or the failures of others. While these factors may influence the challenges you face, they do not determine your ability to overcome them. The moment you accept responsibility for your life, you regain control over it. Taking responsibility does not mean assuming blame for everything that happens to you. It means recognizing that regardless of what has occurred, you have the power to respond in a way that moves you forward rather than keeps you stagnant. People who refuse to take responsibility often become victims of their own inaction. They wait for circumstances to improve, for someone to save them, or for luck to change in their favor. But life does not work that way. The only way to improve your situation is to take deliberate steps toward a better future. This starts with the smallest actions. Organizing your daily routine, committing to a task you have been avoiding, or simply acknowledging that change begins with you. One of the greatest obstacles to personal responsibility is the avoidance of discomfort. People avoid responsibility because it forces them to confront their own shortcomings. It is far easier to say, I can't lose weight because of my genetics, than to accept that poor diet and lack of exercise are within your control. It is easier to blame a failed relationship on the faults of the other person than to reflect on what you could have done differently. Taking responsibility means looking in the mirror and admitting where you have fallen short, not as an act of self-punishment, but as a necessary step toward improvement. Change is difficult because it requires effort. It demands that you step outside your comfort zone, take risks, and embrace uncertainty. People resist responsibility because it places the burden of success on their shoulders. If you acknowledge that you have the power to change, then you also accept that your inaction is a choice, and that is uncomfortable. But discomfort is necessary for growth. The most successful individuals are not those who avoid responsibility, but those who embrace it, recognizing that every small choice accumulates into significant progress over time. Personal responsibility also means recognizing the power of structured habits. Motivation is unreliable. It fluctuates based on moods, circumstances, and external influences. What truly drives long-term success is discipline, a commitment to consistent action, even when you do not feel like it. If you want to change your life, you must establish small, sustainable habits that reinforce your values. This could mean waking up earlier, reading for self-improvement, exercising regularly, or setting aside time to plan your goals. Each action you take is a signal to yourself about the kind of person you are becoming. A crucial part of responsibility is understanding that failure is inevitable, but it does not define you. Many people refuse to take responsibility because they fear failure. They believe that if they try and fail, they will prove their inadequacy. But failure is not a reflection of worth. It is a lesson. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn, adjust, and grow. The only true failure is refusing to try at all. Those who take responsibility do not see failure as a setback. They see it as a necessary step in the journey of self-improvement. Taking responsibility also extends to how you treat others. People often focus on their own struggles without realizing how their actions affect those around them. Being responsible means recognizing that your words and behaviors have an impact. If you constantly complain, blame, or make excuses, you create an environment of negativity. But if you lead by example, take ownership of your actions, and strive to improve yourself, you inspire those around you to do the same. Responsibility is not just about personal success. It is about contributing to a better world by being a person others can rely on. Some might argue that external factors such as economic conditions, upbringing, or social structures limit personal responsibility. While these factors can create real challenges, they do not eliminate the need for action. There are countless examples of individuals who have risen above their circumstances through sheer determination and effort. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is not the absence of hardship. It is the willingness to act despite it. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. Taking personal responsibility is the most empowering decision you can make. It means refusing to be a passive participant in your own life. It means recognizing that while the road ahead may be difficult, you have the ability to navigate it. No one else is coming to save you. No one else is going to hand you the life you want. You must create it yourself, one choice at a time. And when you do, you will find that the power to change has been within you all along. The power of structured habits is one of the most underrated forces in shaping a successful and meaningful life. Many people believe that change comes from sudden bursts of motivation, from an external event that sparks transformation, or from a moment of inspiration so powerful that it alters their entire trajectory. But the truth is that real change is not about a single breakthrough. It is about the small, consistent actions that compound over time. Discipline, not motivation, is what leads to meaningful progress, and discipline is built through the careful construction of structured habits. One of the greatest misconceptions about success is that it is achieved through grand efforts. People imagine that if they want to become healthier, they need to spend hours in the gym every day. If they want to be financially independent, they need to start a multi-million-dollar business overnight. If they want to be more knowledgeable, they need to read entire books in one sitting. But this mindset leads to failure before the journey even begins. The reality is that long-term success is created by small, manageable, and repeatable habits that are integrated into daily life. Instead of focusing on radical change, focus on incremental improvement, getting just a little bit better every single day. Habits matter because they shape your identity. Every action you take reinforces a belief about who you are. If you wake up early and start your day with focus, you reinforce the identity of someone who is disciplined and productive. If you exercise regularly, even for just a few minutes, you reinforce the identity of someone who values their health. On the other hand, if you repeatedly procrastinate, avoid responsibility, and indulge in distractions, you reinforce the identity of someone who lacks discipline and direction. The key is not to rely on willpower alone, but to design your life in a way that makes good habits automatic and bad habits difficult. People often assume they need more motivation to take action. They tell themselves they will start when they feel ready, when they feel inspired, or when the circumstances are just right. But waiting for motivation is a mistake, because motivation is unreliable. It fluctuates depending on mood, energy levels, and external circumstances. Some days you will feel excited to work hard. Other days you will feel exhausted and unmotivated. If you rely on motivation alone, you will be inconsistent, and inconsistency leads to failure. The alternative is discipline, the ability to take action regardless of how you feel. And discipline is built through structured habits that eliminate the need for constant decision-making. Consider the concept of automation. When a habit is structured correctly, it removes friction from the decision-making process. For example, if you struggle to exercise in the morning, you can lay out your workout clothes the night before. If you want to read more, place a book on your pillow so that you see it before bed. If you want to avoid distractions, set up an environment that eliminates temptations. Turn off notifications, remove unnecessary apps, and create a workspace that promotes focus. By designing your environment in a way that supports your goals, you make good habits effortless and bad habits inconvenient. One of the most effective ways to build structured habits is through the principle of habit stacking. This means attaching a new habit to an existing one so that it becomes part of your routine naturally. If you already drink coffee every morning, use that as a trigger to read for 5 minutes. If you brush your teeth before bed, add a short stretching routine immediately afterward. By linking new habits to existing ones, you create a system that reinforces itself without requiring additional willpower. Another important factor is consistency. Many people fail to build habits because they set unrealistic expectations. They expect to see results immediately, and when they don't, they give up. But habits work through the power of compounding. Small, seemingly insignificant actions accumulate over time until they create massive change. A single workout won't make you fit, just as a single healthy meal won't transform your body. But repeated consistently, these actions shape the person you become. The goal is not perfection, the goal is persistence. Even on days when you feel unmotivated, showing up and doing something, even if it's small, is what keeps the momentum alive. And structured habits